Moving out for the first time can be hard, but it doesn't have to be if you're prepared.
Hey, I'm Alex.
And I'm Philip.
And we teach you what you need to know about being a grown-up.
Because adulting shouldn't suck. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, click on that bell so you get the notifications when we put out some new content, and in the comments below, let us know what your biggest worry is about moving out.
In this video, we're going to talk about 9 things you need to know when you're moving out for the first time.
When you first move out, you're going to need quite a bit of money. If you haven't already started saving up for your first move, you need to start now. You have a lot of expenses when you're first moving out, like first and last month's rent, a security deposit, which could be equal to the first month's rent, moving expenses, and any utility connection fees that some companies might have. Depending on where you live in the country, that could be anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000 just to move in.
Or up.
Yeah.
More expensive than that. In addition to saving money to move out, you need to be ready and saving up for an emergency fund. Because emergency funds, I mean, they're really important because life is going to happen and it's a matter of when, not necessarily if. And if you don't have an emergency fund to pay for whatever that emergency is when it happens, you can end up in a really bad situation. The goal for a good emergency fund is 3 months of expenses saved. And yes, that's a separate amount from your regular savings account. So if you have $1,500 a month in expenses, then you should have at least $4,500 saved in an emergency fund. It takes a long time to save up for this. So start with 1 month, then work towards 2 months, and so on. And that's in addition to the amount of money that you had to save up in order to move out for all those first and last month's fees plus deposits. It gets expensive real quick.
It really does. When you live at home, this is the best time for you to save money, because this is the time of your life when you should be having the least amount of expenses. You should be saving at least 50% of your monthly income while you're living at home at a minimum. But if you're trying to move out sooner than that, then you should be saving even more.
Whoa, so you're saying I shouldn't be spending all my money eating out and having fun?
Yeah.
Buying energy drinks and coffee?
Yeah.
Oh. All right, so the first thing is you're going to want to know your credit score because it's super important, because a lot of places you're going to want to move into are going to check your credit before you actually get accepted to move in. Some places even require certain credit scores before they allow you to even be qualified to move in. So if you don't know your credit, or if you don't even have a credit score, you're going to want to go and check and make sure that it's a decent credit score. And you can do this for free at a lot of places like creditkarma.com. And if you're using any kind of budgeting apps like mint.com or the Mint app, then you can go through there and you can check your credit score on there as well. So you don't want to waste your time applying at places that are just going to deny you for not having any credit or having bad credit. So during this point of the process is when you're going to want to know, if you need a cosigner or not in order to get approved because you have, bad credit or not good or credit that's not good enough.
A cosigner is someone who is accepting financial responsibility for you in the event that you fail to pay a bill like rent. For somebody to qualify as a cosigner, this individual has to have good enough credit and make enough money to cover their monthly expenses and whatever bill they're cosigning for. If you don't have a cosigner, it doesn't mean that you can't move out, but it will limit your options, and it will likely mean that you're going to have to pay a larger security deposit or increased rent rates depending on where you apply.
Or you might not even qualify.
Yeah. If you need help building your credit, we have a free downloadable system to help you build your credit on Autopilot. The link is going to be in the description below, so make sure that you check it out if you need to build your credit.
All right, so the second reason is you're going to want to create criteria for your ideal apartment. Knowing what type of place you want to move into before you start looking for places to move into is going to save you a lot of time. Depending on things that are important to you, like the location of your place in relation to work or school or family or friends, are you going to need to be close to public transportation to get around? What's the parking situation like if you've got your own car? How many bedrooms do you want? Are you moving to a place that's going to allow pets? Do they not allow pets? How safe of a neighborhood are you wanting to live in? Knowing this kind of stuff before you even start looking is going to help you narrow down the search for a place to live.
Yeah. Tip number 3, decide if you need roommates or not. You probably have already figured this out by now, but if you haven't, now is a good time to sit down and think if you really need a roommate or not. After you've saved up money, checked your credit score, and found the area where you want to live, can you afford all of that stuff all on your own? Or do you need a roommate to be able to help you afford living out on your own? Hey, there's no shame if you need a roommate. We both had roommates, and it was cool.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Being a grown-up is expensive, and right now things are even more expensive than they have ever been before. So even if you could afford the monthly expenses on your own, having a roommate to help you split those monthly cost of bills can really help ease that financial stress of living out on your own.
All right, so the next tip is look at apartments that fit your budget. Now that you know where you want to live, how much you can afford, and whether or not you're going to need to have roommates, it's time to start looking at apartments that fit within your budget.
Mm-hmm.
Duh. The financial professionals say that you're not supposed to spend more than 30% of your income, of your monthly income, on rent. Or you can end up being house poor or house broke, however you want to call it.
Yeah.
And that sucks. Nobody enjoys that. It's no fun. You want to be able to still afford the rest of your bills and, have a life. So the further away from the 30% you get, the tighter the rest of your money is going to be, right? So the more you spend on rent, the less you're going to have to spend on everything else. On top of that, the landlord's going to require you to make at least 3 times the amount of rent. So, if your rent is $1,000 a month, then they want to see that you're making at least $3,000 a month in order to get approved. And $1,000 a month for rent ain't much.
Right.
Especially now. So having roommates can help you meet that criteria because some landlords will allow you to qualify collectively with all of your roommates. So make sure you ask the landlord before you just move in if they require you to make that kind of money on your own, or can you do it collectively? It's pretty important. So before you even take the time to fill out an application, ask them that. Before you even go there to fill out the application, call them on the phone and ask, hey, can I qualify by myself for the 3 times the monthly rent, or do I have to can I qualify including my roommates?
Next tip, how to fill out a rental application. Every place that you're ever going to rent is going to have you fill out a rental application. These cost money per adult over the age of 18 that is going to be living in that place that you're trying to rent. Rental applications can range anywhere from $35 to $75 a person, so these can add up really quick if you're applying for a lot of different places with a lot of different roommates. When you find an apartment that you want, you're going to want to fill that rental application out accurately and turn it in quickly. You're not likely the only person that's applying for this apartment, and the early bird gets the worm. If you need help filling out a rental application, we have a free downloadable rental application template that can help you fill these things out. All of that information that's going to be on a rental application is going to be on this template, so download it, fill it out, and take it with you when it comes time to submit your rental application. Having all of your information already filled out and in one place will help you out tremendously.
Dude, have you seen how insane some of these rental application fees are getting?
Oh man, I have seen lately they are in the hundreds.
Yeah. So I was talking to a corporal at drill this last weekend because we're both in the National Guard and I'm regular 1 weekend a monther. Yeah. But one of the corporals in my unit, she just paid $670. $670 for an application fee, and that wasn't even guaranteed. Yeah. She was 8th on the list. And then if she does get it, her pet fee to even move in is $800.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, I would not move into that place.
No.
Strictly based on they're ripping people off for rental application fees.
Right.
I didn't even heard of that.
Yeah. It's crazy.
All right, so the next tip is understand your lease. When you sign a lease with a place, you're agreeing to pay however much that rent is for however long your lease is. If you decide to terminate or break that lease early, for whatever reason, the landlord or the property manager can hold you liable for the remaining amount of rent that was due for however many months you still had on that lease. There's also other useful information in the lease, like who to call in the case of an emergency in your house or apartment, any parking rules or quiet times.
Yeah. Well, so you've made it this far. Now it's time to move in. Before you move in, You want to make sure to sell all of that stuff that you don't want to take with you and donate whatever is left over. There's no need for you to move with all that stuff you don't need. Used boxes are your friends. Check out cardboard recycling places and see if you can get some free boxes. If not, you can always buy some. I used plastic bags and trash bags and just threw my stuff in the back of my friend's car. But whatever you got to do to make it happen, make it happen.
All right, so the next tip, the last tip, is get the essentials for your apartment. So congratulations, you made it, you moved out, don't mess up. Go out and grab some of the essentials that you need in order to enjoy your new freedom of being an adult. If you need help figuring out what you need for your first apartment, let's say you just sent it and you moved out, right? You didn't really think about it in advance. We have a first apartment checklist in the link in the description below that tells you exactly what items you're going to most likely need for your new apartment, all the regular stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot of different things that you can do for your first apartment and your first move out to help with the process to make it as easy and as simple as possible. If you follow some of the steps in this video, hopefully they'll help you make that process extremely smooth and easy for you and your roommates, or just you if you're moving out by yourself. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. In the comments below, let us know which one of these tips you thought was most helpful.
And we'll see you in the next video.